In a quiet town surrounded by forests and mountains, lived a young man named Jake. Jake was 25 years old. He lived alone in a small wooden house. His parents had passed away many years ago. The only thing they left for him was a small workshop and a box of old woodworking tools. Every morning, Jake woke up before sunrise. He opened the workshop, cleaned his tools, and started working. He loved making furniture with his own hands. He made tables. He made chairs. He made small wooden cabinets. Every piece was made with care and patience. Jake believed that good work always deserved respect, but the people in his town did not think the same way. Most people wanted cheap furniture. They did not care how much time or effort Jake spent making it. There was only one furniture dealer in the town. His name was Mr. Carter. Every month, Jake took his furniture to Mr. Carter's store. Mr. Carter looked at the furniture for only a few seconds. Then he said, "This is good, but people do not pay much for handmade furniture." After that, he offered Jake a very low price. Jake knew the price was unfair, but he needed money, so he accepted it every time. A few days later, Jake visited the city. While walking through a large furniture showroom, something caught his attention. He stopped. He looked carefully. The beautiful table near the front door looked very familiar. Jake walked closer. It was his table, the same table he had sold for $100. Now it was being sold for $1,000. Jake stood there in silence. He did not feel angry. He felt confused. He quietly asked himself, "Maybe my work is not valuable. If it was valuable, people would pay me more." That night, Jake returned home. He sat alone in his workshop. The room was quiet. The old clock on the wall kept ticking. Jake looked at his hands. They were covered with small cuts from years of hard work. He closed his eyes and whispered, "Maybe I am working hard for a dream that will never come true." At that moment, his phone rang. It was a message from someone he had never met before. Jake opened it slowly. The message said, "Hello, my name is Emily Brooks. Today I saw a beautiful handmade table in a furniture showroom. I found your name under the table. I have been looking for the person who made it. I would like to meet you. I believe your talent deserves a bigger stage." Jake read the message again. Then he looked around his small workshop. He did not know it yet, but this message was about to change his life forever. The next morning, Jake woke up earlier than usual. He read Emily's message one more time. He still could not believe it. No one had ever told him that his work was special. For many years, he had only heard one thing: "It is good, but it is not worth much." Jake replied to the message, "Thank you for your kind words. I would like to meet you." 2 days later, Emily arrived at Jake's workshop. She looked around the small room. Old tools were hanging on the wall. Pieces of wood were neatly placed in one corner. Half-finished furniture stood quietly across the workshop. Emily smiled. "So this is where you create everything?" Jake nodded. "Yes, it is small, but it is enough for me." Emily walked toward a handmade bookshelf. She gently touched the smooth wood. Then she looked at Jake. "Do you know why I came here?" Jake shook his head. Emily said, "Because your work tells a story. I have visited many furniture factories. They make hundreds of tables every day, but they all look the same. Your furniture is different. It has care. It has patience. It has heart." Jake smiled politely, but deep inside, he still doubted himself. Emily continued, "I organize an international furniture exhibition in New York. Designers from many countries will be there. I want your work to be part of that exhibition." Jake was shocked. He almost laughed. "New York? There will be professional designers there. I am only a man from a small town." Emily looked directly into his eyes. "Do not compare your beginning to someone else's success. Your talent is ready. Only your confidence is missing." Those words stayed in Jake's mind. For the next few days, he thought about the invitation. He was afraid. What if people laughed at his work? What if nobody liked it? What if he failed? Then one evening, he looked at the old photo of his parents hanging on the wall. His father had once told him, "If you never believe in yourself, no one else will." Jake took a deep breath. The next morning, he called Emily. "I will come." For the next 6 weeks, Jake worked harder than ever before. He did not try to make more furniture. He tried to make better furniture. Every line was perfect. Every corner was smooth. Every detail mattered. When the final piece was finished, Jake looked at it for a long time. Then he smiled. For the first time in many years, he was proud of what he had created. A few days later, Jake packed his furniture carefully. He closed the door of his small workshop. He got into the truck with Emily. As they drove away from the town, Jake looked back one last time. He did not know what was waiting for him, but he knew one thing. His life was about to change forever. 1 week later, Jake arrived in New York. The city was bigger than anything he had ever seen. Tall buildings touched the sky. People from many countries walked through the streets. The exhibition hall was filled with beautiful furniture from some of the best designers in the world. Jake looked around. For a moment, fear returned. He quietly said to Emily, "I do not belong here." Emily smiled. "You do belong here. Do not let fear decide your future." Jake took a deep breath. Together, they placed his furniture in the exhibition hall. When everything was ready, the doors opened. People slowly entered the hall. At first, nobody stopped. Jake became nervous. Then a woman walked toward his display. She looked closely at one of his handmade tables. She smiled. Soon another person came, then another. Within an hour, a crowd had gathered around Jake's work. People admired every detail. They asked many questions. "Who made this? How long did this take? Can I order one?" Jake answered every question with a smile. By the end of the day, every piece of furniture had been sold. Many customers placed new orders for the coming months. One businessman walked up to Jake and said, "Your work is not just furniture. It is art. I would like to work with you." Jake thanked him. But this time, he did not accept the first offer. He knew the true value of his work. He discussed the price with confidence. The businessman agreed without hesitation. A few months later, Jake opened his own furniture studio. People from different cities came to buy his handmade designs. His dream had finally become reality. One afternoon, Mr. Carter visited Jake's new studio. He looked around in surprise. The workshop was now full of skilled workers. Customers waited outside. Mr. Carter smiled and said, "Jake, I would like to buy your furniture again. I can sell it in my stores." Jake smiled politely. Then he said, "Thank you for believing in my work, but now I know its value. I will never accept less than it deserves." Mr. Carter lowered his head. He realized he had lost a great craftsman because he never respected his talent. After he left, Jake looked around his workshop. He remembered the small wooden house, the old tools, the long nights, the doubts, the hard work. Then he smiled. He finally understood one important lesson. Your value does not decrease because someone fails to see it. A person who cannot recognize your worth cannot decide your future. Respect yourself. Believe in your abilities. Work with honesty. And never settle for less than you deserve. Because the moment you know your worth, the world begins to see it too.